Hey, can I let you in on a little secret? The most powerful women I know, the ones building empires, making big moves, enjoying the process, they're all in one place. And you should be too. It's called Insider. We're talking exclusive content from 7 to 8 figure female founders and entrepreneurs, virtual and IRL events, masterclasses, premium video, and my personal favorite, the Pick My Brain series. So, are you ready for more conversations just like this one? Join for as little as $6.99 a month at theknowinsider.com.
Welcome to the High Achieving Female Podcast, powered by Know, where we believe high achieving female leaders deserve to be known. Here, you're going to get the tips, tools, and inspiration you need to network, grow, scale, and balance your business, career, and life.
Hi, I'm Dr. Valerie Steele. I'm a mindset and intentional living coach, and I'm also a mom who's been exactly where you might be right now, juggling the desire to be successful in your career and fully present at home. If you have ever felt that tug of war between ambition and motherhood, you are not alone and you're in the right place, because in this episode, I'm sharing 3 of the most common guilt triggers that I see in my clients. We're going to explore where that guilt really comes from and how you can start letting go of it. I'll offer some simple but powerful ways to reframe your thinking so you can stop apologizing for wanting both ambition and motherhood, and so you can thrive in both. So let's dig right in. The first of the 3 common guilt traps I see in my clients is an unaware expectation. An unaware expectation is a standard or a belief that you're holding on to without even realizing it. And often this belief or this expectation silently shapes how you feel about what you're accomplishing in your life. To demonstrate what this can look like, I'm going to share this story of one of my clients. We'll call her Maggie. Maggie came to me feeling incapable and not successful. She was a single mom and actually was quite successful in her career as a financial advisor. She had a 5-year-old daughter and was managing all of the car line pickups and drop offs on her own. She was also very involved in empowering female professionals in the area and creating spaces where women are able to be seen and heard. She served in several organizations. She was arguably quite successful. Being in finance, she worked with mostly men, and many of these men were younger and without families of their own. During one of our sessions, as Maggie was explaining how insufficient her client base felt compared to her colleagues, she commented, "They're just running circles around me." She felt inadequate and disappointed in the number of clients she was serving, and she felt guilty for not having higher numbers. I paused and asked Maggie, "Do you have the expectation that your numbers are the same as your colleagues, the ones who are not currently serving in their community in the ways that you are, and who do not have a young child they're supporting through a transition to school?" After a brief pause, she looked up with this aha look on her face and replied, "Yeah, I guess I am. But really, I don't actually want that many clients right now." For Maggie, just gaining the awareness of this unrealistic, unaware, and self imposed expectation has completely shifted the way she feels about her results at work. She has realized that in this phase, for now, she's choosing to do drop off and pickups for her daughter. She's choosing community giving. And of course, her numbers may look different. And she doesn't have to feel guilty about that. She actually feels kind of proud of it. She redefined success. She set a new, more thought out, more thoughtful, and intentional expectation that fully aligns with who she is choosing to be in this phase of motherhood. Because the reality is, there is no balance or sense of evenness in motherhood and ambition. Either motherhood or career will always tip the scale. And that's normal. And that's okay. And that's the way it's supposed to be. So, what would it feel like to drop the guilt when that happens? When one side tips the scale, when you have a sick kid and go full in on mom mode, or when you have an important deadline at work and you allow yourself to fully immerse, what would it feel like to drop the guilt when that happens? So, when it comes to expectations, what are your current definitions of success? And what is your current definition of balance? As you ask yourself these questions, you're going to become more aware of the current expectations, and you might realize that you have some unaware expectations that are not serving you. So, just like Maggie, where can you drop the guilt by embracing the for now principle and confidently and proudly take ownership of the current choices you're making? So, the second area I see guilt slip in is from judgment of yourself and judgment from others. I'll share a brief story about myself. It was 2013. After several months and months and months of negative pregnancy tests, I was finally pregnant. For weeks, I waited anxiously for that first OB visit, that first ultrasound, and I was absolutely overjoyed at the little flutter I saw on the screen in the room. I heard that lub dub heart rate sound echoing through the dark room, except it was too slow. See, I knew what the heart rate was supposed to be at this phase of pregnancy, and I knew that this heartbeat was too slow. This became the first of 3 miscarriages. During that painful time, I began creating a checklist for who I should be as a mom. If I'm ever able to become a mother, I should be fully present at all times and never put these children in daycare to work, thinking that somehow I would figure out how to work with a newborn or toddler in tow, or that I should feed them all organic, homemade food. I should attend every field trip, which is quite funny because I was also telling myself that I should homeschool them and they shouldn't have to go away to be in school. I had some pretty unrealistic expectations. In November of 2015, after the miscarriages, after failed IVF, and preparation for adoption, my son was born to me, a biologic child. And 21 months later, I had a daughter. I was finally a mom. After years of infertility and loss, I had created this list of shoulds that would make me feel worthy of finally being a mom. There were going to be no shortcuts, no selfishness. I would pour all of myself into my kids. I was judging myself in every single interaction. I should make dinner every night. I shouldn't enjoy work this much. I shouldn't need time alone. Every single choice felt like a barometer of my worthiness of being their mom. And every time I chose myself or my career, I heard the all too familiar, you should be a better mom. You wanted them so badly, and now you're working instead of hand smushing organic baby food. You should be doing more for them. The internal dialogue of judgment and criticism was fierce, and that internal voice almost destroyed me. And it all came from myself. So I invite you to listen. What is your internal dialogue telling you? What are the shoulds you are carrying? Every should is worth examining. Ask yourself, is this belief creating the emotion I want to feel? And if the answer is no, it's time to let it go. Now, these shoulds come from outside of ourselves as well. Oftentimes, they're easier to see when they're coming from the outside, from our sister-in-law, from your spouse, your coworkers. And sometimes they can be equally as loud. Judgment from others could sound like, you're a bad mom if you're traveling from work. But before you let those judgments sink in, ask yourself, do I really believe that? And also, do I admire or respect the person saying this? Are they somewhere I strive to be? And most importantly, does that belief serve me in becoming who I want to be? Finally, the third place I see so many ambitious women struggling with guilt is from lack of confidence, not fully owning our decisions. We forget why we chose this job, why we launched the business, why we wanted to be mothers in the first place. So I invite you to remember your why. Why do you value the work you're doing? Why did you launch this business? Why does your impact matter? Why do you want to be a mom? Because without that strong why, we lose our footing. And that's when the doubt creeps in. That's when the lack of confidence. We start wondering, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe they are right. But here's the truth. When you reconnect to your why and you commit to having your own back, you don't need to prove anything to anyone because you are allowed to choose a life that works for you. You are allowed to want both. You are allowed to want more. So here's my invitation to you. Take a look at the guilt you're carrying and ask yourself, is this coming from unrealistic expectations? Is it coming from judgment? Or is it coming from a lack of confidence in my choices? And then ask, what would it look like for me to show up without apology? Not defensively, not aggressively, but unapologetically, with quiet clarity that your choices are valid, that your ambition and your motherhood are not in conflict. They are both sacred and they are both yours. So go get it, mama. Then go home and hug your kids. I believe in you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the High Achieving Female Podcast, powered by No, where we believe it's time for high achieving women like you to be seen, heard, and recognized. Until next time, remember, you deserve to be known.